Welcome to another edition of No Veteran Left Behind USA's Warrior Wisdom and Wellness. Now here's your host, Diane Young.
Hi, I'm Diane Young, the host of Warrior Wisdom and Wellness, and I'm super excited to be here today with Joanne from the Banyan Treatment Centers program. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and explain a little bit about that. Welcome, Joanne.
Thanks, Diane. My name is Joanne Devine. Everybody calls me JoJo.
JoJo.
And I am the National Military and Veteran Liaison for Banyan Treatment Centers. What is Banyan? Banyan is a program or a system of healthcare programs that help our veterans, military, and their family who struggle with mental illness, substance use, and eating disorders. A little bit about Banyan. It was started in 2013. With a partial hospitalization program and sober living. And what we found was that folks would come into the program, what I like to say is that coming to a program and getting clean and sober is easy. It's taking what you learn and applying it out there in the community. That's the challenge. And what we found was that a lot of folks were coming into a program, getting clean and sober, and then they go into the same environment or they start doing the same things that used to work for them that no longer service them, and found themselves in worse trouble than what they were before. And so we started with a partial hospitalization and sober living to do that kind of step down level of care to help that individual, that once they get to a point, then we can work with the aftercare. And what we found is that it met with quite a bit of success. Right. And so from there, we started opening up, another program and then another program. And before you know it, we now have 16 facilities nationwide. We just opened up our 16th in Alaska.
Wow.
We offer services for those that struggle, like I said, with mental illness, substance use, and eating disorders. And we have one not too far away from here. So that's why we're here today.
Wow, that's really exciting. Thank you. And that's why you call it a system of services.
Absolutely.
Nice. Now, how did you come about serving more of the veterans? How did you get that focus?
Well, thank you for asking. So I was married to military.
Oh, that's right.
For many, many years. And while we were stationed in Idaho, I served as a Red Cross case manager. Oh. And I found that it was so rewarding. And so after we PCS to another station, I decided to go some years later, I decided to go and get my degree in psychology. And so what I found was this is my jam. This is my people,
Nice.
And so we serve those who served.
Yeah.
Whether it's the military individual, the veteran, the retiree, the family member, because we all serve in some capacity. So.
Nice, even the family members.
Absolutely.
That's great. Now, did I hear that you also serve the first responders?
Yes,
Okay.
we do, actually.
Great.
So we recently opened up a program that services not just our veterans and our military, although that's a huge, population that we love to serve, but we also serve our first responders, law enforcement.
Wow,
And
that's
so
really awesome.
we've got a very dynamic group of people in one of our facilities in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
And it's a team,
Okay.
and they come with a lot of a wealth of experience, and so we've got some really good folks on that team.
I bet. If they're anything like you, I know they're in good hands. Now, I know you said that when vets call, you answer.
Absolutely.
Now, is that specific to the facility, or do you have a call center?
So we do have a call center. However, everyone gets my cell phone number.
Aww.
Everyone gets my cell phone number. And I won't just speak for myself, I will speak for our entire team.
Wow.
But in addition to the call center, we have a dedicated vet help team.
Nice.
And the vet help team, they take calls into like the wee hours of the morning because, as you know, addiction does not have a schedule.
Right.
And so we'll take calls at 1 o'clock in the morning. My phone rings all the time. And in fact, there was a little joke I said earlier to one of the folks that we met with that I said, on my daughter's wedding, she said, do not answer the phone.
Well, you got to draw a line somewhere, right?
I know.
That's really awesome. And I bet that just knowing that the veteran has your number if they need to gives them comfort that they wouldn't necessarily need to call you.
Absolutely. But you know what the interesting thing is that that phone weighs 500 pounds. That person, for them to pick up that phone, I want somebody to answer.
Absolutely.
You know, and I can't tell you how many times I've spoken with somebody and they said, you know, I called and called and called and you were the first person who answered.
Oh my.
And here's the thing, even if I can't help them, I'm going to bridge that call so that way
Alright.
that individual gets the help somewhere.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So-
So you stay connected and know of the other resources available.
Absolutely.
That's priceless. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank
That
you.
is priceless and so needed. And I know that you have a special focus on suicide prevention.
Yes.
And that'll definitely help with that. Did you want to talk more about your suicide prevention efforts?
Sure. So we have a dedicated team also that they're alumni, and we also have a family team. And what we do is, you know, so our folks are DoD trained, and we are we specialize in like meeting the folks where they're at and recognizing the signs,
Okay.
you know. And so if there is an individual who is at risk of, you know, suicide, we are connecting with them. We're connecting with folks in the area. We're connecting with our resources.
Good.
You know, we want to get that person the help that they need.
Right, great, thank you. That's really awesome. Now, I know you said that you're opening up a new center. Did you want to talk more about that or any other events that you have coming up?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So we are currently in Florida, Illinois, Massachusetts, Delaware, Pennsylvania, California, Texas, Alaska, and our newest facility that we will be opening up, it will be in the Panhandle of Florida, in
Ooh.
Gulf Breeze specifically. And you know, and I'm excited about that because I live in the Panhandle of Florida, so
Oh, nice.
so it'll be a lot closer to home.
Nice.
But you know, and we always have events going on. You know, whether it's going out and supporting in our community, or if we have like different events that go on at the home base, you know, if you will. In addition to that, I mentioned earlier about the alumni. So the alumni, we have a very robust alumni group, and what their job is to contact the veterans and our clients that come through our program, and they start off with like weekly calls, and then they kind of like take it back, but they're following those individuals for up to a year
Wow.
after they get out of treatment.
That's awesome.
And so what they do is they schedule like weekly meetings, they also do events, they do triannual workshops and things of that nature.
Wow.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the family. And so the family too, I mean, when you have an individual that's coming in and working on things with them, the family gets left behind, you know, and oftentimes the family is left with, you know, maybe feelings of anger, abandonment, of, you know, they may just be upset, you know. And so we have a dedicated department that reaches out to the family, and they provide resources for them. They're there as a sounding board, and they too are followed for up to a year after their loved one has left our program.
That's awesome. That ongoing support can make the difference of success or not.
Well, the key is that we want to make sure that we're covering all the significant dates in a year, if you think about it, you know. So some folks, it might be the holidays, that might be a trying time for them. It may be a significant date of the loss of a loved one, or you know, something, or maybe they met with some unfavorable time of their life, and we just want to make sure that where that means of support, that support does not stop once that person leaves our treatment center. And that's the thing that I love about it. You know,
Nice.
it takes a village, right?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and so we want to make sure that we are connecting with our people, you know, and so
That's awesome.
it's important. And I think you can see that there's like a lot of passion. We have a lot of passion for
Yes.
helping our men and women, you know.
That's
and they
awesome.
served, we want to serve them back. you
I
know.
love to see people that enjoy what they're doing. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Now,
Absolutely.
do you have a success rate you can boast of, or?
So, you know, if you had to ask me, I would have been able to tell you. But I would say, if memory serves me right, 84% of the people are engaged in our aftercare program. And
Nice.
I may have to check that number. I think it might be higher than that, but I want to say it's 84% of.
That's awesome.
So.
And that's really the qualifier of success, right, is just staying engaged in that.
Right.
Awesome.
So our programs for our veterans were developed by a veteran who is an LCSW licensed clinical social worker who is also in recovery.
Nice.
And he takes the time to go out and visit all of the programs and meet with the staff and just make sure everything is going well. And and so we've got a pretty good team, and I love it because it's very individualized. As I was sharing earlier, we are not cookie cutter people, so why would we have a one size fits all program?
Right.
So if you have an individual, we've got great programming for them. Like for instance, we accept veterans who are homeless, veterans who are pregnant, veterans with service dogs, veterans on methadone maintenance, and so veterans who are transgender, regardless of the transition, the stage of their transition. And then we also have a faith-based program for our veterans, for those who maybe there's guilt and shame, maybe there's grief and loss. We also have a mindfulness program for those who want more of maybe your smart recovery, Our therapists are all master level therapists. We have all levels of care. So we have detox and stabilization all the way through telehealth services that are provided virtually.
Wow.
So we have the full and everything in between, And so we're in network with all major insurances. We're TRICARE certified. We are all regions. And then we also are community partners with the VA and have been honoring the VA for many, many years now.
That's awesome. You just read my mind as to how it's funded.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Now, what about volunteers? Do you need volunteers, or do you have a paid staff and you're already comfortable?
So we do, our staff is paid, but then we also we're working on different things, for instance, if you have somebody who needs to get their hours to get licensed or something like that,
that's perfect.
And stuff like that, yes.
Nice. Awesome. Well, before we run out of time here, do you have anything else that you want to cover before?
So, two things actually. I want to also make note of the fact that we partner with nonprofit organizations. I believe I said that earlier. So, I wouldn't be too, there's not a program right here in my backyard, because I tell many people, sometimes it's better to get out of your environment so that way you can truly focus on your recovery.
Definitely.
And so if that means, whether you're down the road or if you're one state over, you're going to be in a program. So why not just kind of fresh air, change of scenery, and really focus on your recovery,
So a residential program?
If that's what the need is for, absolutely, And so I wouldn't let distance be a barrier to getting help. And then speaking of barriers, don't ever feel like you can't make a phone call. If you need to contact us, you can call our 855-687-3422. That will ring directly to our vet help team. And that phone rings 24 hours a day. So,
thank you. They've got some great literature here too, and their website is mvirbanyan.com. And what's the best way for people to get more information? Is it a website or is it a Facebook page?
Sure. So you can do it any of those ways. If you go to our BanyanTreatmentCenters.com, that would be fine. Or, like I said, you can contact me directly at 850-333-3604.
That's dedication. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I got to ask, how do you implement self-care to be so available at any given time?
I have a very strong spiritual connection.
Oh, good.
That is my, every day I get up, my morning routine is I have my cup of coffee and spend it with my God.
Good.
And I stay focused on my spirituality.
That's awesome.
So
it looks like it's working.
It's working.
And I know a lot of people in nonprofit or in service can often get overwhelmed because they're always on. So I had to ask that question.
Sure.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you want to share? I know you got a lot going on there, and it looks like you've got the one-stop shop there for mental health care for sure.
Sure. You know what? For just a moment, if you will, I want to address our VA employees.
Oh, good.
We have a program dedicated for our VA employees, and that's huge because our VA employees, they spend quite a bit of time, and like you said, to your point of self-care, there may be a need to kind of like, regroup and get the help that they need. So pick up that phone, call me, because we have a program dedicated to our VA employees.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
And that's priceless for them too, because they don't have to worry about being reported or affecting their employment.
Well, I mean, I just want them to go and feel comfortable when they go for their treatment as well, and not feel like if they turn the corner, they come across somebody that they treated, at the VA. So
or work for.
Absolutely.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, JoJo. It's really been a pleasure spending time with you and sharing your mission and your passion.
Well, it's an honor to serve those who served.
Thank you. I totally agree. And thank you all for listening to another episode of Warrior Wisdom and Wellness.